Welcome to the first in our training series. I'm so excited to have a few people here. Hopefully we'll have a few more join over the next little bit, and we'll have a good crew. If not, I'm recording this so I can put this up on YouTube later. So it'll be up on there in just a few days, which will be, or probably even tomorrow, which is great. So today what we're going to start with is we're going to be working on Google Level 1, Google Level 2, and we're going to be focusing on looking at Google Sites today. So if you are following along with me, go ahead and pull open your Google Drive. You'll need that, and you'll need a Google site. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a minute if you're brand new to making Google Sites, but you do want to have your Drive open and be ready to go with that. What we're going to be looking at, first of all, is before we even start out with that, is I do want to show us our training site that we're going to be using for the next little bit. And I'm just going to share my screen really quickly here. So this is the training site that we're going to be using over the course of the next 8 weeks to get some of you prepared for your level 1 or level 2 training. And again, if you miss a week, feel free to just email me, or I'll be sharing these out on the Google Educator group for Utah's site. But this is where we'll have all the materials that you need to know for the trainings. So first of all, my name is Matt Winters. I work at UEN. I'm very excited to be here doing some open trainings for everyone to do some Google Educator group stuff. I'm one of the leaders for Google, the Google Educator group for Utah. And then my email is there on the top a little bit there, mwinters@uen.org. Feel free to email me. I'm at Twitter @TeacherWinters and at Instagram @TeacherWintersUtah. On the same page, you'll find a lot of materials for Google and all the links to the trainings that we're going to work on today, including Google Sites, which we'll get to in just a minute. Right now, it's a blocked page. I'm going to reveal that at the end of our training, because then you'll be able to see all the different materials that we're working with. Make sure you're in a good place, not to make you overwhelmed at the very beginning. Below that, you'll see some UEN tools in our social media as well. Feel free to follow us / find some great tools on UEN to work with. Throughout the next couple of weeks, there's going to be tons of trainings, and feel free to grab any of these materials that are right here as we go forward. There's things on assignments in classrooms, docs, drawings. We have some great ideas from the Google Educator group in Utah. We have some slides from from Google for level 1, level 2, and then extensions, Jamboards, map sheets, slides, Earth, all of that jazz. So if you want to jump ahead and learn a little bit about all of those, feel free to do so. But again, that is in our chat, and I will post that again at the end of our discussion. So today what we're going to focus on is Google Sites, which is a website building tool. It's one of my favorite building tools. I use it all the time, and I do all sorts of cool things with it for different trainings. It looks intimidating when you start out using it, but it gets a lot easier as you move forward, and you can do some really, really cool things with it. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to that as well and give us a little shot in the arm as far as using Google Sites. So first of all, I asked you to pull open your Drive. Drive is our central location for everything inside of Google. I do a ton of stuff for Google Educator Group for my job at UEN, and just lots and lots of stuff all over the map with Google Drive. Now that is our hub for finding new materials, for adding new materials to it. So we're going to go ahead and hit new, and then we're going to go scroll down just a little bit, and you're going to see below forms, there's this more button, and in there you're going to see sites. Now, when you click on that, it's going to take you directly to a brand new Google site that you can start building on and you can work with. However, there is a second way that you can get there. We can go up here to our top right and go to the waffle and just go down until we find sites, which I always think it looks like a little camera with like a bar over it. It's kind of a little fun thing. And so we're going to do sites, and then you just click on it. But this takes us to our sites homepage, which, just like docs or slides or sheets, gives us all of our recent documents and who they're owned by. You can see I love sites. I have so many of them already on there. But also we can create a brand new one up here at the top, and we can create one from a template. Now, the templates are really cool because these actually you can hand off to your students if they're Google users, and they can create based off of a template that you've chosen. So you could say, hey kids, we're all going to do this student portfolio one, and you're going to change some things out, but I want you to start with this as a template. It's really nice. And all you have to do is click it, starts a brand new one for you, and then you can title it. For us today, we're just going to go ahead and hit blank. So I'll give you a second to get there and make sure that you're ready to go with blank. And again, if you have questions as we're going through, or if I'm going a little too fast, feel free to ask me to slow down or ask a question in the chat. I've got it pulled up right here next to my video, and I'd be more than happy to answer any questions as we go through, but we will have time at the end, about 20 minutes, to answer any questions you guys have and discuss any ideas and develop any different working platforms. All right, hopefully you're looking at a page very much like this or seeing something very much like this. And if you're doing something as you're listening to me today, remember you can come back and watch this video later on YouTube, and we'll have it posted here within the next little bit. Today, how we're going to work this through is we're going to look at all the level 1 things that you need to know to get Google certified. Then we're going to look at all the level 2 things that you need to know to get certified. And then I have a few of my helpful tips as a frequent Google Sites user that will help you develop a really good structure for building this. So let's go ahead and dig into level 1. So first of all, Google wants you to know how to create a site, which you just learned how to do. You go to Google Drive, click New, More, and then Sites, or you can use your waffle or your hamburger to go and grab Google Sites and click a brand new one that way too. Now from there, we're going to leave this page really quickly. This is going to be considered our home page, but we're going to go and do some other locations on it as well. So the first thing I want to give you is just a quick tour. So up here at the top, we've got our title. Just like Google Docs and Sheets and Slides, we can go ahead and put a title in here. I'm going to call mine Sample because that's what I use every time I know I need to remove this later. I create a title at Sample and I'm good to go. You might want to call it, and Google recommends this, your classroom. Like maybe you would teach an English class and you would call it English 9th grade. Or maybe it's your name's class. That would be fantastic, like Mr. Winters' class. That would be a really great way to build and start your site, because you might want to use this down the line for something. And I might as well. We'll see what happens as we go over the next little bit. All right. So now that I've created my brand new site and I've given it a title, we're going to ignore the stuff up here at the top, and we'll come back to that at the end. But I do want to draw your attention over here to the right-hand side. Over here, we have 3 different buttons. The first one is Insert. We have Pages, and we have Themes. Insert allows us to drop things onto our page here. So this is our home page. If I click text box, I can go ahead and add some text and say, hello, students. And I can build off of that, okay? Or I can embed, I can Google Drive, and we'll add a lot of these here in a little bit and show you how to do some specific things with it. Pages allows me to add a secondary or tertiary page to my website. So think like a large website like Amazon, we're going to build our homepage, but then we're going to have a lot of links off of it into different locations. And that's what we can do here. To do that, Google recommends that we go down to the bottom, and we're going to go ahead and put the plus sign. And notice that we get 2 options here. The first one is to create a new page, or we can create a new link. Now, the new link would allow us to put in a link for another website like Educator, and then it would link on our site out of there as well. So right now we're going to add 3 brand new pages. So I'm going to give you a little bit of wait time so you can do this alongside of us as well. And I'm just going to hit plus new page. And the first one I'm going to title, and this is what Google recommends as well, is a class calendar page. I'm going to click done, and you can see that it adds that page, and I'm on that page too. It changes up here at the top. Second, it asks to add a student work page. And then the third one, it asks you to recommends is an about me page. So each one of those, when I add those in, it drops a brand new link and a brand new page, and I can click between those right here. But also, I can see them up at the top of the page here. So I'm going to give us some wait time here for about 2 to 3 minutes. And I'm going to go back over that for just a second because we had a couple new people come into the training. But as you're waiting for me to catch back up to you, go ahead and add those 3 pages to your Google site. For those of you that just walked in, we are working on Google Sites today. You're going to go ahead and go to your Google Drive, click New, click More, and then click Sites. And that'll give you a brand new Google site to work off of. The only thing that we've done so far is that we've titled it by clicking up here at the top and giving it a title. I went with Sample. Google recommends that you put your class's name there. And then we went over to Pages, and we added Class Calendar, Student Work, and About Me as pages by clicking down at the bottom. Now, if you have questions, or if I went too quickly through that, feel free to drop that in the chat. I'm going to give you about a 1 minute to a 2 minute wait time right now to give that a shot and see how it turns out for you. All right. Hopefully you've got your own page now. And if you need help with that, again, we have question and answer at the end of this hour. So at about 3:40, I'll stop giving you tips and showing you how to do things that Google is going to ask you to do on the test. And we'll answer Q&A and make sure you're in a good place. So again, where we're at, home, class calendar, student work, and about me. And I added those by clicking the pages and then adding the plus sign down here. Now, what we're going to do is, again, you can navigate using the pages bar over here, or you can navigate across the top here. One thing I want to point out just really quickly, because this is kind of cool, maybe you want the About Me page to be first in that navigation for your students. So you can just click and drag, and now it's in that first slot right there. You can even drag it above home if you want to. So it kind of makes it easy for you to reorder your class and work with them. And we'll show you another tip with that in a little bit. Right now, Google, the next thing they want you to know is be able to change text and add text to a page. So in order to add text, we just did that a minute ago, but I'm going to do it again really quickly. We go over to Insert, and we're going to hit Text Box, and that gives us a text box here. And then I'm just going to add, my name is Mr. Winters. Okay, pretty easy, safe little sentence there. They want you to know how to change a font. So if we go ahead and highlight that text, right here, we can change our font just like we would in Google Docs and Sheets and Slides. And we can choose a font that works really well for our website. This one I don't think is the best one, but I kind of dig it. So I'm going to add that. And notice you also have across the board here, size. You can bold, italicize, underline. You can change text. You can add links. There's a lot of features here for text editing that makes it really simple. Now, one quick tip here that's really easy is if you highlight your text again, right here where it says normal text, we can go ahead and blow that up and make it more noticeable by choosing title. But notice it changed my font again, so I can change that back if I want to something else as well. So that allows you to make things bigger and more highlighted, and some things to be a little bit less highlighted and less easy to see. Kind of cool for escape rooms. I love doing that, and we'll show you some of that later. All right, so that's adding text and changing font. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add a bio and a picture to the About Me page. So with me, folks, you're going to go ahead and find your About Me page up here at the top bar and click on that link right there. Now, there are lots of ways that you can add a bio. There's just dozens of them, and it matches your needs however you would like to do it. I'm going to show you what I consider to be the easiest and quickest way to do it, and then you can play around with it and do whatever you would like with it. So the easiest way for me is, again, I'm on my About Me page. I can get there by my top bar or navigating on my Pages bar. But right here, Google Slides provides these great layouts here that are just one click. So my favorite one is this one right here, especially for bios. It has a little picture and then some text. If I click that, it's just going to drop this onto my page right there. So I can add some text. Hello, nice to meet you. And then I can add my name underneath it. There we go. And I can add links and all sorts of stuff right there. So that's how I could add a little bit of text to my bio right there. To add a picture, this is why I think it's so much easier, is right here. I can click the plus sign and I can go ahead and upload. I can select image. I can grab something from my drive, or if I wanted to, I could grab a YouTube video, embed a calendar or a map. But right now I'm just going to upload a picture really quick from my desktop because that's where I keep my beautiful headshot. There we go. And I can resize it by grabbing these little circles and put them where I want to be. So that's the easiest way to create a little bio portion of your website, of your Google site, and add text and add a picture. Now we can also add a picture by going over here to the right-hand side and clicking images. So if I click images, I can upload or I can select. And again, from select, I can do Google Drive by URL. I can do a Google image search, or I can click my photos as well. We'll just do a Google image search really quick. I'll do some tiger. And then I just click it and insert, and that picture goes directly below where I was originally working. With that said, I can also resize my picture. I can crop it. I can uncrop it. I can insert some links, or I can trash it. Which right now I'm going to trash that because I don't need a picture of tiger on that page. So that is adding a text and a picture to your bio page, your About Me page. So let's give you guys 1 minute of wait time to build that little section of your website. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. All right. Next thing they want you to do is a fairly simple thing to go along with that. And it's to change the background color of this white area behind your bio right here. So how we do that is very simple. Over here to the right or left-hand side, you see these three controls right here. The first control is a section background. Then we have a duplicate section and a trash can. So any of those we can click and we can see what they do. I'm going to go ahead and click the trash can. There you go. We know it disappears. Control Z is our best friend, so we can bring it back. I can duplicate that section. Again, Control Z to get that rid of that. But to create a section background, I can go ahead and change the background color. So the first one, just change it to this kind of off-white gray color. Then I can also change it to this blue color. Or I can get real crazy and I can add my own picture, and I can grab one of these from Google as well. So I could grab these little keys and you can see it looks good. It might not look the best right now. It might not be the best choice with this font color and things like that. But that's one of the great things about Google Sites is it's completely editable and changeable to what you think would be best. So keep that in mind. They just want you to know that you can customize and make it really interesting for yourself that way. So like, for instance, one of my favorite things to do when I was doing this at my junior high that I worked at is I would create background images that were in the school colors, just a solid color, and use those as my background colors. And so it made it really easy and really kind of matching with my school in a beautiful way. All right, next thing they want you guys to know as a level 1 educator is how to move the navigation menu, okay? So right here at the top, above the About Me section, you can see that kind of, it gets a little like line right here. This is our navigation bar. So right here, this is a top-loaded navigation bar, but they want you to know how to change that to a side-loaded, to the left-hand margin. So how we do that is when we hover over this, notice that it disappears, there's a little gear that pops up. When I click that gear, it gives me my navigation menu and a few other tools as well that we'll look at throughout the next little bit. Navigation here, I can go ahead and just click top, or I can click side. And notice that all my links disappear here, but then I get these 3 lines right here. So if I exit out of here, there are my links right there. Now, what's nice about that is if we go back to the Google site from our training today and for the next 6-8 weeks, here is what our site looks like. And notice that all of those stay there no matter which page I click on, which is really, really nice. It helps to make things a little bit more noticeable for students and teachers, and makes it a little bit more even as far as color and type go as well. Now, you may have noticed this too. This is more of a level 2 thing, but they do want you to know in that same box, that side navigation, that you can change it to transparent, white, or black as well. So you can change the look of that. And I wouldn't be surprised if over the next couple of months, they also add in the ability to add pictures or different colors as well. So really, really cool there. All right. Okay, we're going to go back to our home page now. So I'm going to go ahead and hit my 3 lines there. I'm going to click the home link. Again, you can do that from your pages link as well over here. And when I go there, we're going to go ahead and add a couple of things to this page. Okay, so more content. So in that case, we got to get used to these bars over here. Insert is where we want to add things at, okay? And what we want to add is the website for our school, okay? So there are a couple ways that we can do that. The first way is we can go ahead and create a new text box, and we can write link to our school site, okay? So I go ahead and highlight that, click the link button here, and then I can type in the URL for my school, which I'm going to put in uen.org. And notice that it changes color there. I can blow that up or make it way bigger as a font size. I can center it. And now my students have a link directly to the school site. I found this really valuable when I was teaching, to be able to send students directly to like Canvas, or to a website that we use quite frequently, like Scribble. Or if we were doing a research unit, here's all the material you need for that research unit as well. So lots of really good ways to do this, and you can create lots of great things. And I'll show you another tip for that down the line. The other thing that they want you to be able to do here is maybe possibly embed your school's page on there. So this is the other way to link a page onto your website. Right here underneath text box, we have this great one that says embed. And what's great is that it asks you, do you want to do it by URL, or do you want to do embed code? And embed code scares a lot of people. I get it. That's a heavy duty thing to like to ask somebody to do, is embed code. So luckily we can just do it by URL. So if I type in uen.org again, now this won't work for every site, but what's nice, oh, see, this one doesn't work for it, but some sites do. And so I can just show you an example of that back on our homepage of our website here. Right here is the Google Educator page for UEN. And I was able to embed that by just adding that link right there. So this is definitely a web page that, you know, a way to do that. And that's what it would kind of look like at the end game, is being able to add that site in there and have that full site on there. Again, doesn't work every time, but it's a great way to add some visual flair to your website. All right. 2 last things for level 1, and then we'll give a 30-second break to make sure everyone's ready to go. All right. The last 2 things. Number 1 is that we're going to invite someone to be an editor on our website. So this could be for co-teaching. Maybe you're asking your students to create a website and you want to have you and them on the website. Maybe you're working with your admin and you want to have that person working with you. Did that all the time as a teacher. So all I have to do is go ahead and hit plus right here. Notice there's no big share button. You got to look for the person with the plus sign. And then we can go ahead and type in the person we want to work with. So in this case, it's me. We can add a notification message and then go ahead and click send. And that person is now shared on that website. Notice also that you can, under that page, you can change your links as well to draft restricted and publish site to whoever you want to. We'll get more into that here in just a second. And the last thing you need to know for level 1, last thing that you need to know for level 1 is all we have to do is hit publish up here in the top right. Now, publish allows you to change the back end of your URL. So this is the front end right here. So I'm always going to have a Google site that says sites.google.com/pd.uen.org/ and then whatever I want it to be. Yours is going to have your URL for, or your domain for your school or your district on there. Not a big deal. Makes it hard to find. And that's why you always want to give the direct link to people. But it's nice that you can do the back end here and go ahead and toss it there. So I'm just going to leave it as a sample right now, and that's going to be good. Right here, we can change who can view the site. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to anyone with a wet link, which is public. And now anyone who sees this is good to go. And all I have to do is click publish. Now, one thing before that, it does say request public search engines to not display my site. If you click that, it means that Google, Bing, those sorts of things won't put your website as a search result. Kind of makes it a little bit more private, especially for school-based stuff. Totally recommended to add on there so that you're not having kind of random people show up on your website. So click publish, and it publishes the site for you. Now, unlike a Google Doc, if you make a change to a Google site, every time you do, you need to click publish. And what's nice is, let's say that I delete this link to our school here. If I hit publish, Google's going to show me what change I made. Here's my draft version that I'm going to publish. Here's the currently published version. So I can see both versions and go, oh, wait, oh, I forgot. I needed to add that. That's something I definitely got to have there. All right, that is it for level 1. All right, let's get into level 2 here. So level 2 has just 5 things that you have to do that's added on from level 1. They're pretty straightforward, but I definitely want to jump into them pretty quickly because we're cruising here. We got 13 minutes till question time. So the first thing that it asks you to do is add a video to your site. There are 2 ways that you can do this. So the first thing you can do is go ahead and, if your video is in your drive, you can actually grab that video and put it directly from your drive onto your site. So right here, I'm in my drive. Again, I clicked right here next to my embed tool underneath my images in the insert panel. And I go ahead and click on back to school. There's a video right there, and click insert. And now that video is on my Google site, ready to be used. That aspect ratio was a little weird. There we go. It's a little bit better. Now, the one that most of us will use that have Google in our schools is YouTube. And thankfully, on the insert tab, it actually has one already made in there for YouTube. So scroll down, and right here at the bottom, there is a YouTube link right there. And I can just go ahead and start searching UEN training. All right, perfect. There we go. And click that video, select, and that video goes right in there. And notice I can drag those around and put them however I'd like in my structure. So embedding a video, super easy. Now you can also put playlists in there, but that's a whole different ballgame. That deals with your embed tool. And if you have questions about that, ask me when we get to 340. All right. Number 2, they want you to know how to add alternative text. Okay. So we've already talked about alternative text to images. So if I go ahead and add an image, again, I'm just going to go ahead and hit select image. I'm going to do a Google image search, and I'll just do my standard thing that I always do, which is tiger. And I'm going to click insert. That image is just going to go right there. And now for accessibility reasons, if you don't know what alt text is, it's for screen readers. So for people who have disabilities, who are blind, they can't see the image. A screen reader will read the alt text for an image and say that alt text for the image so they understand exactly what's there on the web page. Pretty important for accessibility, especially in schools. So that's why Google wants you to know it and make sure you're in a good place with it. So to add that right here, here's my image. I'm going to go to the 3 dots on the image. And right there, I can add alt text. And all I have to do is add a little description. So I can just say picture of a tiger in a jungle. Now notice that underneath it, this says this is a decorative image. You could just say this is a decorative image. It has no real purpose here other than just to be a decoration for my web page. And the screen reader will say that for you as well. All we have to do is click apply, and that goes onto that text for screen reader down the line. Really important little thing for accessibility reasons. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a Google Calendar. So important for your students to know when things are coming up and when things are going to be happening in your class. I use this all the time, and I did it with my faculty as well when we were having staff meetings, those sorts of things. So all we have to do is, again, on our insert bar right here, we're going to scroll down, and there's a link right under YouTube for calendar. So we click calendar. We can choose the calendar that we want to have, which I'm just going to grab the Google Educator group for Utah and click insert. And now that calendar will read all of the events on that calendar and place them onto that web page, which is really nice for students to see, especially if you're using, maybe you're grabbing your Google Calendar, or maybe you're adding your assignments over from Canvas, or maybe you're using Google Classroom and those assignments are going into your calendar. Whatever it might be, it's a really great way to get everything organized for your students and for you. I was a terribly organized teacher, and I've gotten much better about using Google Calendar. It's helped me to realize how effective it can be in making me see everything that I need to during a day. All right, last 2. All right, one of them is they want you to know how to insert a link, which we've actually already covered, but I'm going to go over it one more time just to make sure everyone's got it. So I can add a link to text by going right here and clicking insert link and putting in the link I want. Clicking apply. And notice I get that line underneath to indicate that it's a link. I can do that in pictures as well. So I can do that. Now I could put in UEN.org, but let's say that tiger picture, maybe I want to send it to my About Me page. Cool. Right here underneath, I can see all the pages that I have on my website, and I can click one of them and it'll actually set that up as a link to send me to that page, which is really cool. So a couple of different ways to do that. You can also embed pages, and we covered that when we talked about embedding. All right, and the last thing you need to know for level 2 Google is to add a map. Okay, so maybe this could be for indicating where the school is. Maybe you're doing a get to know you activity through Google Forms and Maps. Maybe you are just enjoying, you want your students to see a site that you absolutely love. Maybe it's part of maybe you have a world map of travel that you've done over your lifetime. You want your students to see that. So we go over here to the right-hand side again, and underneath calendar, you'll see map. Now, right there, I can enter a location. So I'm going to do Ogden, Utah. There we go. Cool. There it is. And select. And that map goes in, and I can see that right on my page. And I can go ahead and put calendar next to map, and I'm good to go. So this would be great for field trips. This would be great for recommendations for museums. Again, travel, sharing with your students where you've been in your life. Or maybe you want to have them do an assignment. You're going to have a bunch of locations, and you want to make sure that they know exactly where they're at. So really cool stuff. Baseline, putting a map of where the school is at would be great for parents if there's going to be a classroom site that you're going to share with them. So really recommended there. Okay, that's level 2. That's everything Google wants you to do and know for level 1, level 2. Right now, what I'm going to show you, though, are a couple tips and tricks that I have picked up as a frequent Google Sites user that I think will really help you out that Google didn't cover for whatever reason in their sites. So let's jump into those. There's about 6 of them. They're all really quick, but they're so helpful. So the first thing I'm going to show you is before you publish a site, you might actually want to see what your site looks like for your viewer. So right here at the top next to publish, if we go across, we've got our settings gear that gives us our navigation, our brand images, that sort of stuff. Our collaborate with others. We have our final link right here. This is where you can get your final link for your published site. Then you can send it out to parents, you can send it out to your students, whatever it might be. And this works for every page. So maybe you want to send your kids to the work page instead of the home page, or the bio page instead of your home page. Cool. Just go to that page and click that link and it'll give you that page here. But right next to it is a little computer and cell phone. That's our preview button. So you can see as soon as I click that, it shows it as it's actually going to be viewed as a web page. I can click around in it. I can scroll through things. I can play things. This is fantastic for checking to just how it looks and how it visually kind of checks out as a user. So definitely check this out. See what kind of things you can do with it as far as previewing it. What's nice is down here in the bottom right too, you can see how it looks like on a cell phone, on a tablet, and on a desktop computer. So pretty awesome there to kind of preview stuff. One quick note with that, and I don't know why Google didn't put this in the reference slides, but they do recommend that I recommend that you check your links for shared documents. So let's say that I do go over here to my drive, and let's say I want this slide deck right here on this web page. Well, if I click that and add that, I can see that, and that's awesome, but my students might not be able to see it because I haven't given them permission to see it. So in order to do that, you just go back to your Google Drive, find that same document, and then just make sure you hit your share link. And then just make sure down here it says anyone on the internet can view this, or anyone at your organization. Mine says Utah Education Network. Yours will say your district. If it's just your district, that means your students on their Google accounts will be able to see it when they're logged in. Parents might not be able to. Just kind of a heads up on there. All right. Number 2, kind of tips and tricks here. Underneath that settings cog, again, up here in the top right, we have that navigation bar again, really cool stuff there. But underneath that, you do have brand images. And I love this because it classes up and makes your website look even more professional. It looks like something that might be a real, not a Google site, but like you coded that website, which is super nice for a lot of reasons. So right here, it has logo. You can hit upload. And then I'm going to grab just a UEN logo that I have here so you can kind of see what this will look like. There it is. And what's nice is that when I add in there, automatically gives me my alt text. I can see what the icon is. And down here, it reads your color theme as well. So you can change the colors of everything on your page. See how it turns a little purple or a little green? Kind of cool, right? I love that. And then you just hit exit, and now you have your logo right there, and your background kind of matches those colors as well. This is really helpful to make your site look more professional, and you could add in your school logo. You could add in, maybe you want to make your own logo for your class. Maybe you want to make a little email signature for yourself. It's kind of cool. I love it. All right. Couple last things. One is underneath on the insert page, there's this little thing called buttons. And buttons allow you to make custom buttons for your page to link to different things. So right here, I might say, I want to link to classwork. Okay. And underneath there, I can link to an outside website, or I can go ahead and click student work, insert, and now it creates this really cool little button that once the students click it, it sends them directly to that page from my homepage. If we go back over to our training website for today, that's how I did this section right here. So you can see it over here on the sidebar, but then if you scroll through, you can click automatically and go to a button for each automatic page that you have there. Super helpful to just give them students two locations to make sure they see what you're working with, what materials you're giving them. Because we all know students love to say they don't see something when really it's just right there. All right, along that same line, underneath buttons on this right-hand side, there's this thing called dividers. I think this is really helpful to create visual separation on your page. All it is just a line, but it breaks up what your page looks like into different sections and kind of adds a little bit of differentiation. Great for if you're going to put a lot of content on the page, or if you're going to have different sections, or if you want to have like classroom groups or assignments. It adds just a little bit of flair to it to make it a little bit less visually connected, so it makes it easier to absorb. All right. 2 last tools. Number 1 is themes. So over here on the last page over here, we've talked about insert, we've talked about pages, we've now got themes. Themes allow you to change the whole construction of your page really quickly and easily. So right now, I've got it under simple. But let's say I wanted to have diplomat. Well, cool. I can change it right there. And I can change my color to match my UEN logo again right there. Or, hey, maybe I don't like that one. I can click level and do the same thing. And so it changes the whole style of your page and gives it a little bit more personality. They have added a few more over the last couple of years, and I'm very excited about the new ones that they added. The other thing that you can do down here is also change your font type across your entire page. So instead of sans, I can do slab, or I can do narrow. And they're fonts that have been picked out by Google to kind of match that format, that page format that they're working with. So capital, frank, and narrow work really well with impression. And so you can kind of match, and it helps you to do the graphic design elements without being overwhelming. All right. Last thing I want to show you is something I hinted at earlier, and we're right at time, which is awesome, but playlists on YouTube. So if I go over to YouTube really quick, and let's say I want to grab, I'm going to grab this PCBL. There we go. So let's say I want this playlist right here, and you can go grab a lot of different playlists from YouTube. Well, let's go ahead and click right. Oh, sorry. I have that unlisted, so I got to change that really quick. Apologize, folks. There we go. So right here, you can see I've got the share arrow right there, and I have an embed code right there. This allows me to grab that video code right there. Oh, Control Z. There we go. And I can go ahead and toss that back over to my sample web page that I've been working on and go to embed, click embed code. And now I can put a whole playlist of videos on my Google site. Fantastic if you have a ton of material that you want your students to look through or work with, or if you're creating a bunch of videos of trainings for your classes and things like that. Or maybe you're doing a weekly welcome video. You can put those on YouTube and then share them as a playlist on your homepage for your site. So just a really great way to do that. And also in the past, I found really great ways of using embed code to embed video games on Google sites, to embed full web pages, Nearpods. Most recently, I was using this tool called IORAD, which creates these really great tutorials that are clickable, and put embed code on there. And it was fantastic. It worked really, really well. So lots of different ways to use that and do some really great things with it. Now, with that said, that is everything for Google Sites that you need to know, plus a few extra tips for your level 1, level 2 certification. A couple things on the Google site here. I'm actually going to show you this really quickly because this is kind of cool. When you actually are the owner of a Google site that's been published, even if you go onto it on the web, you can go in and hit edit down here in the bottom right corner. And I'm just going to go ahead and publish the Google Sites page really quick. So if you forget all of this stuff, don't worry. On the Google Sites page on our website, if you refresh, and you can see I'm publishing it right now so you guys can see it. Everything we talked about there today is there. So here are all the level 1 tasks that you need to know for sites. Here are the level 2 tasks you need to know for sites. And here are all the helpful tips that I just went over as well. So all that material is there for you, easy to access and work with and to go off of. And we'll be adding to this every week as we go forward to make sure that you're in a good place with every single piece of material you need to know for the upcoming Google level 1, level 2 tests.